It's the midseason point of the season. How are the rookies doing?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for KENS 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. And like you just heard a little while ago, it is already the midseason point. Wow, this season's just flowing by. But it's time to look back at how the kids are doing. How are those three rookies doing? Malakai Branham, Blake Wesley, Jeremy Sochan, halfway through their first season of their pro career. But we're also going to look at tonight's game, Spurs-Memphis. Yes, Spurs and Memphis play again out in Memphis. But thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts. And I am joined finally by my good friend, James Pledger, San Antonio sports star, where I'm banned from his show, the Saturday Morning Hangover. Appreciate that, buddy. Like that.
You're not banned. You're not. I need something to talk about. I can't, just make up daily Spurs content. I mean, oh no.
Hey, Pledger, welcome to my world.
I know. I have to make up a lot of content, but I've got content that is actually relevant at the time, like the NFL playoffs. Yeah. And the Spurs keep, just when I think I'm in, they go and beat the Pistons. And it's like, all right, well, that was for naught. After gaining a couple of gains on them, and you're only game back and you don't have Vassell, you lose Keldon during the game, and then boom, we're going to beat them and house them anyway and destroy all your hopes of moving into that top three.
By the way, I think as of this recording, the Spurs are out of the top three according to Tankathon. That's just maddening.
Yeah, because they're good enough to not be there.
You know what? I was in Madison Square Garden for Spurs Knicks, and the local New York sports channel, they got Sean Elliott on. Okay, so Sean Elliott is doing a little piece for the TV station, and I'm at my media seat. I plug in my headset and okay, what's Sean talking about? And so the question to Sean was, "Hey, how are the Spurs doing? This season?" And then they say, we know it's a rebuild, blah blah blah. This is what Sean says. He goes, "They're playing good enough to win, but the lottery." That's all he said. He's like, he knows the assignment. You know the assignment. Everybody knows the assignment, but the Spurs are just not getting it.
I mean, and to be fair, I've said it a million times. I said it as, with the Texans. Teams tank, players don't. Organizations tank, players don't. And that's why the Indianapolis Colts fired their head coach in the middle of the season so that they wouldn't win meaningless games late. Right. That's part of the process unless you're a new coach and you have some security. But the Texans screwed it up at the end of the year because the players want to win.
Right. Yeah.
But organizations do things like, you're dealing with a quad injury. Let's rush you up for the end of the year, which is the thing that shocked me about how long the Devin Vassell injury took to finally just have him shut down. And it's not even the surgery part of it to me.
Right.
The surgery is one thing because I understand not wanting to be cut on.
Right.
But part of me is like, why don't you just shut him down for a month or two, see if it heals, and if you're still having issues, then get him cut instead of here, take 3 nights off, try and come off the bench.
And he did versus Brooklyn.
That's what I'm saying. They had this weird thing that they were doing with Devin Vassell that as a fan and just as a person that would be like, what's the point of what you're doing with him? The adverse risk you're taking with a knee injury or knee soreness or whatever you want to diagnose it as, let him get to 100% because it is obvious that this team is not competing for anything substantial at this point of the season.
Right. Oh, but there is something substantial later on after the season. Very substantial.
when we get a little further in. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you just came out of the chute just firing on this tank thing. That gets you fired up there, Pledger.
A little bit.
Yeah, you're fired up. By the way, everybody,
frustrations that I've been meaning to unload.
Make sure to follow him on Twitter at I Am Pledger and check out his show, The Saturday Morning Hangover, over at San Antonio Sports Star. That show I'm banned from, and it's every Saturday. What are the new dial stations? Is it still 12:50 a.m. right? But what's the FM?
It's 12:50 a.m. is 94.1 FM, which
is by the way, everybody,
where you want to hear it.
Exactly. Well, I'm just giving Pledger the business because he's absolutely right. What is there to talk about other than L's? Yay for L's, but yeah.
Trey Jones is playing extremely well.
Well, there's that, yeah. But hey, before we get off on that tangent, by the way, I'm going to warn you now. At the end of the show, I'm probably gonna get in the soapbox regarding MODOK. So I'm just
yeah. I finally saw him in action. You could say. Yeah, but I have issues with him. But hey, let's dive into this episode of Locked On Spurs. We're just going to get rid of the game preview tonight. Spurs, Memphis. We kind of know how it's likely going to end with the Spurs getting the L. Disclaimer, we do not have the injury report right now. This is recorded before the game. So John Morant, who sat out the last game, could play tonight. And Keldon Johnson didn't play. So keep that in mind headed into this preview. But yeah, another date with the Grizzlies. Now, I do like this, though. They've been competitive versus Memphis this season. Took Memphis to overtime with John Morant, and Memphis barely won. And then the last game recently, the Spurs erased a double-figure lead to actually take the lead and push Memphis to the limit. So I do like that, James, out of this young Spurs squad. Yeah, and that's kind of what I've talked about since this offseason is you're looking for substantial growth in a young team when dealing with a lot of losses and looking at individual growth of players, i.e. Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, and Keldon Johnson all taking a big step. And also, i.e. like playing good teams well, but still coming out with the end result that you would want. Just finding ways late to possibly not quite seal the deal so that you can continually collect ping pong balls, basically, if we're being honest. And, the learning to close out of games will come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's been
something that this team's going to have to work itself through. But these are the things you have to look for. And against the Grizzlies the other night, they looked pretty good. Yeah.
And that's kind of been the thread of late. The earliest season, what was it? Young team. They were getting decimated. What was it? That 11? Was it an 11-game losing streak? Something like that. Something crazy. And now it's turned into,
I believe, 17 of 18.
Yeah. Thank you. And then now it's just learning to close out. So there's progress. We're seeing a little bit of progress from this young Spurs team. So yay Spurs, but keep getting those L's, please. Yeah. Please, Spurs.
Well, remember, we are about 3 weeks away now from a very important date that could see this team possibly get substantially
worse.
Less competitive, I would say.
Okay, I'll go with that. Yeah. But look, again, John Morant did not play in the last game. We don't know if he's going to play tonight, but if he does, that's just going to make the Spurs' life a little bit more miserable. And for those that are on Team Tank, a lot more smiles on their face. The Spurs come into tonight's contest. I think what are they? A three-game losing streak. So yay, there's that. And I look at this young Spurs team, and I really like the play of Trey Jones. And you brought him up a little while ago. Just eye-opening what he's doing this season, James. Yeah, James, Trey Jones has been playing great, but before James just pours a lot of sunshine on Trey Jones, we're going to take a break right here on Locked On Spurs. We're here with James Pledger of the San Antonio Sports Star. Follow him on Twitter at I Am Pledger. And I want to talk to you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 6 players. If they go on to score more or less in their Prize Pick projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you watch: NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, PGA, boxing, MMA, disc golf, yes, disc golf, Euro basketball, cricket, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com right now to sign up for daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 on PrizePicks by using promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks gives you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks gives you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100.
Autobots, roll out.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with James Pledger of the San Antonio Sports Star and co-host of the Saturday Morning Hangover. Check him out on Twitter at IamPledger. So, James, you've been really happy with Tre Jones, haven't you?
I've been extremely happy with Tre Jones. He has taken a leap that I'm not sure the biggest Tre Jones supporters saw coming this year in his second year. He has been a revelation. He gets in to the sets extremely well. He is a hard-nosed defender. Does he have his shortcomings? Yes. He's not a great three-point shooter still. His outside shot needs some work, and he gets victimized by bigger guards, but, because of his stature. So, yes, there are some things that even he can't overcome no matter what he does. But at the same time, we've seen, Steph Curry, team defense will do a lot to help with the smaller guards and being able to help them defensively and so they don't get victimized all the time. But Tre Jones has been just so good this season for the San Antonio Spurs. And you can argue outside of like Kevin and Devin, he has been the biggest positive for the San Antonio Spurs this season.
Yeah, he really has. Aside from KJ and Vassell making leaps, Tre Jones has been just continuing to make monster leaps in his development. And James, he was a late second round pick.
Late second round pick out of Duke and ACC Player of the Year. So things are going well for him. He really runs the offense great. I said this offseason that he was the best point guard on this roster. I know they wanted Josh Primo to be kind of the point guard of the future, but he wasn't there. And Tre Jones was the best point guard on this roster. And that remains to be true with the way he's playing. I don't care if Josh was still on this roster or not.
Right.
Like, he is just playing that well this year. The one thing that, you still would like to see him improve on would be his outside shooting. That's the one knock that you can look at that is tangible that he can fix. Being taken advantage of sometimes by bigger guards, that's going to happen. It happens with Steph Curry. It happens with, it just happens with smaller guards. But
Trae Young, everything,
team defense helps to nullify that.
Does the NBA even play defense nowadays? But anyway, Spurs-Grizzlies tonight. Once again, Spurs 13-28, Grizzlies 26-13. Memphis is 2-0 versus the Spurs this regular season. All right, let's go and switch gears now and talk about the rookies. It's the midseason point of the season. It's time to look at how the kids are doing halfway through their first year. We'll start off with Blake Wesley. I guess safe to say incomplete because we just haven't really seen him.
Oh man, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna give him an incomplete just because that the amount of time he missed due to that injury was a meniscus.
Yes,
right?
it was. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was a meniscus.
So just due to the sheer amount of time that he ended up missing, I mean, he's played in just a couple of games, 11 minutes a game. It's just an incomplete right now, but that can change because as he's now coming back, you've got the rest of the season to kind of get him into gear, and maybe he bounces between Austin and here to get his feet under him as he returns from the injury. But the small sample sign I've seen of Blake Wesley, I haven't disliked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, same thing here. I haven't disliked anything I've seen. Again, he's only played 2 games with San Antonio. That's it.
11 and a half minutes a game.
That's it. So it's really tough to kind of give him a grade. I think we're in agreement.
23 minutes total.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. So, no, he's looked okay in Austin, but even then, I think he's only played like 2 or 3 games. So, again, another small sample size of the G League. I think we have to revisit Blake Wesley maybe at past the 3/4 point of the season if he's getting burned. He might have to get some burn because, Trey Jones is a high usage player.
Day coming up here in about 3 weeks.
Yep. Yes, that is the trade deadline. So
because
we'll see how that is. Yeah.
You look at guys like, Doug McDermott, Josh Richardson. That can open up minutes for him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, who knows, perhaps, the need for Blake Wesley spikes because you're going to lose a guy like Richardson who handles the ball once in a while. He brings the ball up. So we'll definitely see.
He's been a very important piece to this team.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, just 2 games, but 8 points per game, 1 rebound, 2 assists in 11 minutes, as James mentioned. So really, really tough to kind of grade Blake Wesley right now. But let's move on to Malakai Branham. Now, here's a rookie that's been getting some burn of late. 27 games so far in his NBA career, 4 starts, 19 minutes, 7.2 points per game, 1.7 rebound, 1.7 assists, connected on 42% from the field and 30% from the 3 line. Takes about 3, he makes about 1. But all in all, so far, not so bad for Branham.
No, the fact that he's even getting burned being that late of a first-round pick, needless to say, 27 games, shooting, 42%. You'd like to see that come up, as well as his 3-point percentage, which is right around 30%. Like, those numbers you'd like to see come up a little bit. But other than that, he's averaging a little over 7 points a game, give you a rebound and an assist almost 2. Pretty good numbers for just almost 19 and a half minutes a game. So I'm not upset with what I've seen. I would give it a C+ as of right now, because there is room for improvement, obviously. And I don't want to get carried away with the grades, because I also know that, we're very excited to see our rookies because we never get to see them like this before. It's always, 2 to 3 years down the road. Well, we're getting something out of it. And if I'm grading on a scale, especially with what we saw from Devin his rookie year, I can't, in good taste, give him a B or an A. I mean, he's a C+ rookie right now. You're getting production out of him. Is it wow production? No, but there's room for growth, and you can see the potential of growth in Malakai Branham as well.
He's the type of player where I look at the end of a game and look at the stat sheet. I'm like, oh, he did that? But you don't see it during the game. You're like, oh, wow, he put in double figure scoring and hit a couple of threes. Okay. But it's just a very old school game that he has. He'll hit the midi, he'll hit the 3, he'll attack the rim. I think the confidence or, being on the big stage, those jitters were getting to him early in his career. He seems to be out of that now. For the Spurs to give him 4 starts, that's pretty good. It's a good nod for him. But here's a little factoid here. Whenever Malakai Branham scores 14 or more points, the Spurs are undefeated. They're 3-0. Yeah.
So we got to start running the offense through Malakai is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. Oh, and if he plays 26 minutes or more, the Spurs are 2-1. So small sample size, but hey.
So let's get him 30 minutes and 15 points, and we might be able to make it all the way up to the 6th seed.
I'll take it. Well, I don't know about Team Tank. They'll take that, but all in all, Malakai Branham, I agree with you, though. I think a C is appropriate. He still has his ebbs and flows. He still makes boneheaded plays. He is a rookie. He turned the ball over at a crucial moment versus Memphis in the recent game. But that, that'll come. That's part of his developments. He's gonna hit those pitfalls, and that is what it is. But again, a nice rookie, and again, James found in the late draft, late first round. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with what I've seen from Malakai Branham to this point in his young career, and I am not upset with him.
Absolutely. When we get back, we're going to look at the other rookie, that is Jeremy Sochan, and look at his season so far at the midway point of his rookie season. I know James is already giggling already. He loves this. I wonder
I'm
if
surprised you
Jimenez
didn't
his
have
name.
Mike Jimenez on for this one.
No. He gets roasted so bad. But maybe he'll react to we'll hear him on the next show so he can react to your grade. I think that'll be hilarious. Right here with James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. Follow him on Twitter at @IamPledger. But before we talk about Sochan, I want to talk to you about BetOnline.net. It's your number one source for your sports betting information, stats, news, and analysis. Get all the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to basketball. Hey, look, they got it all over at BetOnline.net, and I mean it all, from the NBA race for the most improved player award. See if any Spurs are still in the hunt. Coach of the Year award, is Popovich still in the mix? Yeah, you want to go to BetOnline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. Always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website today. Use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, it's where the game starts.
Autobots, roll out.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star, talking about the rookies and how they're looking so far midway through their rookie season. So up next is Jeremy Sochan. And James, would you ever dye your hair like Sochan? Would you ever go wild like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You would?
This New Year's, I was planning on bleaching it out white. So
what are we gonna go as? I usually go with the comic character. Who's white? All white.
Oh,
hair?
I wasn't going to Zane. I was just gonna bleach out my hair.
Oh, just for fun.
Yeah, New Year, new me.
Maybe you could have gone as Lobo. Doesn't he have all white hair, or he has black hair?
No, he has black hair.
He has black hair. Okay. Trying to think
Storm's
of
got white
Magneto.
hair.
Magneto.
Magneto has white hair.
Can you pull up Magneto cosplay?
That's something I have yet to try, but is not beyond me to try.
For those who don't know, James is a big cosplayer, especially come Halloween.
I don't know.
I've seen it. Well, no, you put together some good costumes. I've seen you as Red Hood. You went as Red Hood one year. You went as Constantine recently.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pull off Gambit? Why do I keep on thinking Gambit?
No, I really want to do a Gambit, but I've pulled off Tony Stark before.
Yep.
I've pulled off the 10th Doctor.
Oh, that's fun. That's a good one.
Tenet's my favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done multiple things throughout the years.
I wonder if anybody will go as MODOK. Okay, I'm gonna hold back on that. I'm ready to fire off on that already.
I know you are.
Yeah, I'm eager. But all right, let's talk about Jeremy Sochan. Halfway through his rookie season, and for a number 9 pick, he's doing it all, from rebounding to guarding the team's best player, to getting under the skin of Luka Doncic, to knocking down the occasional three.
Well, getting under the skin of Luka Doncic and Michael Jimenez.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jimenez is going to come up right now in this discussion. And shooting free throws one-handed and connecting on them. All in all, I got to say, not too bad. Really not too bad for a guy who could do it all on the court.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy who was very new to the game of basketball in the first place. High energy guy, does all the little things. And I think about Michael Jordan talking about Dennis Rodman. And he was like, Dennis Rodman doesn't need to score a point to affect the game. And he was right. And in a similar fashion, Draymond Green doesn't have to score a point to affect the game. Jeremy Sochan's proven to be a great energy defender, and it's going to get better the longer he's in the league. He's giving you almost 9 points a game, which, that's money. But he's also a rebounder. He's an assist guy. He can push the pace with the ball. Like, he does a lot of things really, really well. And everybody keeps, what did we keep saying for years and years and years? Need a bouncy big, big. Need a guy that can switch and defend multiple positions. Jeremy Sochan does that for you. We've
for
seen countless I think I've seen more alley-oops from Jeremy Sochan this year than I've seen out of the Spurs in the past 10 years.
sure. Right.
I mean, he is freakishly athletic, just jumps to the top of the box
Mm-hmm.
and will throw it down. And that is fantastic. He also defends multiple positions, so
Yes, he
you can't
does.
switch and easily, get into a situation that you are excited about offensively if you're the other team. Does
Mm-hmm.
he have issues? Sure. I mean, shooting 20% from three on the year,
Yeah, not
not
good.
great.
Mm-mm.
45% from the floor, though, despite that 20% from three. I mean, inside of 10 feet, I believe he's like a 75% shooter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he plays well in that area. And as we've seen with his quote unquote one-handed free throws, they're breaking down his shot and he
Mm-hmm.
is letting them. And
Yeah.
most players would never allow this to happen within a game.
Right. For what I
Jeremy
like,
Sochan
yeah.
taking it to the court during the
Uh-huh.
game to continually work on these issues. And while he's a 62.5% free throw shooter on the year, in the last 10 games since he's been doing this one-handed stuff, he's shooting almost 89% from the free throw line.
I'll take
So
it.
it's
Yep.
working. His
It's working.
3-point percentage has gone up percentagely 21%, but it will come. You shoot well from inside 10 feet, you shoot better from the free throw line. Eventually, it's just going to continually come out, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe one day he will be an actual threat from three.
Right.
And by threat, I mean shooting 30 to 34%, which
Mm-hmm.
out of your four is not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. And what I like about Sohan is the fearlessness. He wasn't afraid to take that three to try to at least win or get the Spurs get in recently. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
who was that again? It was against Boston, I believe.
He's not afraid of any moment.
Yeah, he's not afraid to take on the opposing team's best player, as Luka Doncic. He really got under Doncic's skin. I mean, Luka had a reaction. And Steven Adams, didn't Steven Adams have fun with it, saying like the guy pinches me out everywhere, during the game. So those little mental tactical things, very reminiscent of Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman would, do worse. He would literally trip players on the court and pull them down, but just being an irritant. Just keeping the opposing player his Sohan on their mind. So I like that about him, and very very fan friendly. And I like that too. Very accessible. On his social media, he chats with fans constantly. Really interactive with the fans pregame. So he's really, really becoming just an all-around player, a good player for the Spurs on and off the court. But on the court, yeah. I got to ask you, though, because you work with him closely, why does Jimenez bag on Sohan so much? Doesn't he see the numbers?
Gripe with something somewhere.
Doesn't he see the numbers
he
and
wants
the
him to
impactfulness?
step out of the womb shooting 38% from three.
I just don't
Not
get it.
realizing he just picked up this game a handful of years ago.
I just don't get it. At first I thought it's just Jimenez being Jimenez and he's just doing it for giggles. But when he's texting me during game, like, you see, I told you he can't hit a three. I told you. I'm like, oh, he's really not on camp. But I heard a rumor, at least on his show halftime, or that was it, Jimenez and Spence, excuse me, that he may come around to apologize to Sohan. You think that'll happen?
I've got it. I'm sorry.
Oh, you got it already. It's already been out.
But then Sohan had a bad game the next day, and it was right back on it.
Yeah, we definitely got to have Jimenez come back on soon to rebut the grades we're about to give Sohan. All in all, started with you, Pleasure. What's your grade?
I'll give him a B-. I like what I've seen out of him. I'm getting minutes. I'm getting hustle. I'm getting defense. He adds a lot defensively. His energy, his ability to switch. I like his, bounciness.
Mm-hmm.
Do I expect more offensively from him at some point? Sure, probably. But I also know when they drafted him that he was a project and he was going to be a little ways away. If he would have been drafted, 2 years ago, this guy would have spent the first year or two in Austin.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No
But
doubt about
they're
that.
letting him learn on the job, which is what we've always wanted. Like if he was doing this in Austin, none of us would know any better. And all of a sudden, now that he's doing it in the league, like it's an issue to people like Jimenez. Like, how could you see you wasted this pick? No, not necessarily. He's got the opportunity to get better, and he's shown that he can get better. And he's taking to the Spurs teaching so much so that he's bringing some of them into the game, despite some people laughing at him, mocking him, whatever it may be for what he's doing. Because as Rob said, the pizza box shot, that is something that you teach young kids when they're first getting into the game. But you also have to remember Jeremy Sochan is just getting into the game.
Right, exactly. And remember too, he wasn't really a focal point on the offensive end with Baylor.
No,
he really wasn't.
He was
at
a
all.
sixth man.
Yeah, he was not a starter. He was not, a first guy to go to on the offensive end, a second guy. No. So the offensive end is going to come to him as well. By the way, I think this is really underrated about him. That's not getting talked about a lot. Is he's pretty good on the offensive rebounding side. He had 3 offensive rebounds versus Memphis. He had 5 versus Oklahoma City back on December 27th, and he had 6 at New Orleans on December 22. So I think that's a very underrated part of his game, those second chance opportunity that he creates for the Spurs. Look, if he's not knocking on a 3 or putting up buckets, he's going to find a way to impact the Spurs in a positive way. So for that, I definitely give him a B+. I know the 3-point shooting needs to work. I think, I would like to see him attack the rim a little bit more. I think he's that kind of a player that can pick up fouls on the way to the rim. And get those turnovers got to come down. He had 3 versus Memphis, but that's just being a 19-year-old rookie who wasn't a starter at college is now a starter in the pro level and is asked to do very, very much. So there you have it. Our grades for the 3 rookies. What do you think?
I give him a B-.
Okay.
I think B- is fair. There's plenty of room for growth. He obviously, there are some red flags, but you can see the effort being put in and some of the payoff of that effort that's been put in, like free throw shooting. So you extrapolate that out and hope that the 3-point eventually levels out as well as he begins to get better. But I think B- is a fair grade for Jeremy Sochan early at the halfway point.
Jimenez is going to say it's a D or an F. If he gave the Dark Knight a less than an A, he's going to give Sochan a less than a B, maybe less than a C.
The way Jimenez talks about Jeremy Sochan, you would think he was the worst draft pick in NBA history.
Right, exactly. Hey, we're done. We're done talking about the Spurs for right now. Yeah, we want to hear from you. You can let James know what you think about tonight's game, Spurs-Grizzlies, and the rookies, and give him your grade for them at the midway point of their first year in the pro level at I Am Pledger. And he is once again with San Antonio Sports Star and the Saturday Morning Hangover. He'll talk about that in just a few seconds. But before I let Pledger go, I saw the trailer for Quantum Mania. Loved it. I think Kang, the guy by Majors, is going to do a bang-up job portraying Kang the Conqueror. I like how it's starting, like how his arc is about to start right now. And we're in phase 5 of the MCU. So, but I don't like the look of MODOK. That is not MODOK.
I take it you hate it?
Yes, I hate it. That is not MODOK. First of all, MODOK's not supposed to look like a humanish. He's supposed to look more creaturey. He's not.
Did he not look creaturey?
No, I mean he didn't have like the big wrinkles everywhere. He didn't have the creature teeth. The teeth they're all jagged. And when did he become a transformer to have that mask, that protective mask over his face? He doesn't have a metal mask. That is not my MODOK pleasure.
Well, hold on, because you are going extremely far right now with a small clip that we saw. yes, there is, a silvery sheen on the
I don't like that.
outside, but
I
we
don't like
don't know
that.
if that gets broken off in battle, and that becomes the nod to the look we're all familiar with of
Mhm.
MODOK. He does have the humanoid hands on the outside that
Yeah, I
are
saw that. Yep.
encased in arm lengths. You can make out the teeth
Mhm.
through that gold facade on the outside. I'm just saying, it looks like a protective, cover, much like, a helmet would be.
Mhm.
So the fact is, give it a chance to where, like, we don't know if there's going to be a battle and his helmet gets broken open and all of a sudden you see what we know as the MODOK that is all
Right.
wrinkly and disfigured underneath that that encasing that he's in. Like,
Right.
this may be something that Marvel is doing on purpose. Also, it is a Marvel trailer, so be careful, because
Yes.
remember when we saw the Hulk running out with the Avengers and Infinity War and all the other little fake Easter eggs they've laid in
Yeah.
trailers to get you to bite?
Yeah. Yeah. I just hope, that we get
I
the
just
real
need you to
looking
not go Jimenez on this until you've seen it.
Oh, you went there. Yeah, I went to the Jimenez area. But look, overall, I like the trailer. I think, by the way,
Oh, it
I
looks
totally forgot.
so
Yeah.
dope. Like,
I,
Kang is going
yes.
to be an issue.
By the way, I didn't know that Kang can be killed like in a fight, because in the
Mhm.
trailer we got, he's throwing with Ant-Man and he's
Oh,
sweating, he's busted up. In other words, is like if you're gonna go up one-on-one just throwing fists with Thanos, good luck. But he looks more mortal. Is that am I making sense here?
no, I mean, he
Yeah.
is mortal, but he's immortal encased with, the ability of the future and knowing what's coming and how to prevent or extract, or like we saw with He Who Remains in the Loki series.
Yeah.
There are issues. He's got future tech that it is, centuries ahead of what they're dealing with in terms of like Ant-Man's
Right.
abilities. Like, he's got tech that is centuries older and
What
more
did you
advanced.
what did you think about his army? I mean, he has an army. Holy
Mhm.
smokes,
He's
does he have an
he's
army?
been putting in work while stuck in the quantum realm. Let's say that.
Are we gonna figure out how he got stuck there? Like how?
Uh, I
Was it the
imagine
snap?
that's what I imagine that's what this is going to be about,
Hmm.
is, why he needs Ant-Man to get something for him. I'm
Hmm.
imagining Janet, while she was
Yep.
stuck there, had
Yep.
some dealings with him, probably figured out what he was up to, put it under lock and key somewhere,
Hmm.
and he needs Ant-Man to steal it for him, and he's enticing him with the ability to get back his time with his daughter Cassie.
Did you see the homage to the comic book scarring on the face?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Majors had the scarring on his face. I thought that was a nice little touch. And then I guess the visor is now retractable, like it just kind of comes in and out,
Yeah, I
like the
mean,
helmet. Yeah, I always thought it was a physical
Ant-Man's
helmet.
is, Tony
Yeah,
Stark's is. It makes sense.
yeah. Who else? Rescues was right. Rescue had a retractable
The rescue,
helmet.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, James, time to brag about the San Antonio Sports Star and your show, Saturday Morning Hangover. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Saturday mornings, every Saturday from 8 to 10, me, Jack Thompson, and Katie Goodman will break down the week's events and get you ready for the weekend of sports. And this time of year, it's a whole lot of NFL football as we are in playoff time, and Dallas Cowboys are getting set to take on the GOAT himself.
Oh
Plus,
no.
we'll touch the Spurs, some college hoops. Jack lets you know which college players to keep an eye on, because just in case you don't win the Wimby sweepstakes, you got to know what else is out there. And we keep you apprised as to what you need to be looking for. So it's a good time. And then, of course, during the week, you can also catch me. I'm on with R&R in the morning, weekday mornings from now 6 to 10, of course. Jimenez and Spence, the new show that took over for halftime, goes from noon to 3, and you can catch me on that show sometimes too, producing. And then, of course, the staple, the Blitz, now from 3 to 7. So San Antonio Sports Day, Sports Star is live and local.
Oh, yeah.
Damn near all day long.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great shows out there at the Star. Everybody has to check it out again. Was it 94.1, correct?
That is correct.
94.1.
941 and ESPNSA.com if you're listening in a different part of the country, kind of like Jeff has to do.
Yeah. Well, maybe not for long, because I'll definitely be seeing Pledger in just a few short hours, maybe. What? We'll talk about that more. I know Pledger's going to be blowing up my text next. But for James Pledger, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.